She made sure of it. She made sure that she killed him by stabbing him over and over and over again, and then finishing him off by slicing his throat. It is also sure that during this vicious attack, Mr. Alexander suffered. Mr. Alexander suffered pain every time that knife went into his body, every time that knife blade struck the back of his head, and when the blade went down to his throat. It was certainly also extremely painful. In addition to that, we know that he was alive in the sense that he was able to see, he was able to breathe, he was able to hear, so that he knew what was coming, forcing him to endure a horrific hardship, a horrific view of the world, mental anguish.
Unusually great or significant? Is it beyond this normal cruelty that is inherent in any first-degree murder? That's the question before you. Talk about, there's two issues in that regard when you hear the evidence and when you consider the evidence that you've already heard. There's two issues. It is the pain and mental anguish of Mr. Alexander, but it also deals with, should Jodi Arias have known, or should she have known, or did she know that she was causing this? Now in this regard, and we'll talk about this a little more at the conclusion of this phase, we have to account for the fact, and as the state just brought up, the testimony of Dr. Samuels, and as well as Dr. DeMarte, and you also heard from Dr. Geffner, about the synapses in the brain, about the flight or fight response of both these individuals. Because as you process this information and you hear from Dr. Horn talking about these wounds, the perception of both these individuals and how their brains were functioning in this time is relevant to consideration of this mitigating factor. And when you consider what you're hearing through this filter, through this light that the jury instructions impose upon you that are not optional, that you must follow, you will come to understand that the state has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that this was done in an especially cruel manner.